Good morning, students. In the previous two classes, I taught two portions, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 in the lesson chapter is human reproduction. Unit 1 reproduction, second chapter human reproduction. In the human reproduction, first two previous classes, part 1, I taught about that human male reproductive sex organs, and the second part I taught about the female reproductive sex organ. Now we are going to learn about the human reproduction part 3, the spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis means already we know. Gametogenesis. What is gametogenesis? Gametogenesis is the process of production of male and female gametes in the humans. That is called as the gametogenesis. So this gametogenesis, totally production, gametes, genesis means production or formation. Formation of gametes is called as the gametogenesis. So gametogenesis first. Gameto, that means gametes. Genesis, production or formation. So the term gametogenesis means formation of gametes. So first portion, gametogenesis. There are two types of gametogenesis. We know according to the sex it is divided into two. First one is the spermatogenesis and second one is the oogenesis. So types are, first one, spermatogenesis. Then second one is oogenesis. See, by the name itself, spermatogenesis. Genesis means formation or production. Sperm, production of sperms or formation of sperms. This formation of germs are called as the spermatogenesis. Next, oogenesis, formation of ovum. Formation of ovum. In today's class, we are going to study about the spermatogenesis or formation of sperm. It is happening in the males. So, today's class, I am going to explain about the spermatogenesis and also the structure of a male sex cells, that is sperm. First of all, spermatogenesis. First one, more questions are arising. Spermatogenesis, how it was happened in males, where it was happened, why it was happened, how it is controlled by the other hormones. Hormonal control is there for the spermatogenesis. So in this class we are going to study how they are produced, why they are produced, the sperms are produced, when they are produced, and what are the hormones involved in this spermatogenesis. First of all, we know the structure of seminiferous tubules. Already we studied inside the seminiferous tubules, in the lumen of the lumen means in between the two walls, the cavity which is present in between the two walls of the long tube, that is called as the lumen. Inside the lumen of the seminiferous tubules. Where are the seminiferous tubules? These seminiferous tubules are present inside the testes. Already we know the tubules which are located in the compartments. These compartments are called as the lobules. Inside the lobules, 2 to 4 seminiferous tubules. They are more coiled or convoluted tubules. So in these convoluted tubules, interior side the lumen, the seminiferous tubules have the lumen or cavity. This lumen is made up of a special type of cell, pyramidal elongated cells, that cells are called as the Sertoli cells. So inside the lumen, when we are seeing the cross section of seminiferous tubule, we can see the nerve cells or the Sertoli cells. And what is the function of these Sertoli cells? Already we studied what is the function of the Sertoli cells. They are the nerve cells, otherwise they are giving the nutrition for the new formed sperms or spermatozoa. So first of all, we have to see the cross section of the seminiferous tubules. When we are taking the cross section, it is double layered, 2 layers also you can see. The inner cells, they are made up of granulosa cells and the Sertoli cells are also present. So elongated pyramidal Sertoli cells are present on this area. So these are the Sertoli cells. In between the Sertoli cells, this germinal cells are present, that is primordial cells are present. This granules after the puberty, when it was started, the germ production or the sex cell, sperm production is formed after the puberty. It may be 11 to 12 or 12 to 20 or 11 to 20 according to the hormonal secretion and food habits of the young ones. So the puberty occurs on the males from 12 to 20 age. So when the germ cells are formed on the epithelial layer of these seminiferous tubules, in between these primordial cells, they will move towards the layers. In between these nerve cells, they will be present. They are called as, now they are called as the spermatogonia. In the first stage, these cells are called as the spermatogonia. So here the spermatogenesis happening in 3 stages in the males. First stage is this one. 2 types of cell division also takes place. Mitotic division and the meiotic division. We know what is mitotic division. Mitotic division is the somatic division or the multiplication division. So first stage of this spermatogenesis is multiple division, multiple phase. First one is the multiple phase. Yeah, this one is the multiple phase. So during this phase, mitotic division happens. So when the spermatogonia or this spermatogonia is otherwise called as the sperm mother cell. So this spermatogonia or the sperm mother cell have 2 N chromosomes, diploid number of chromosomes. Total number of chromosomes are 23 pairs. That means how many? 46 chromosomes may be present on the spermatogonia. So when it is going on the first stage is in the spermatogonia, this primordial cells. Primordial germ cells or primordial sperm cells, they move towards the interior side. In between the Sertoli cells, they will be present. These primordial cells will be present and they have the chromosomal number 2N, that is diploid in nature. 23 pairs of chromosomes will be there. Then afterwards, they will be increases in size. This cell, before cell division, we know the cell will increase in size, nucleus and cell, everything will be included. And afterwards, when it is increases in size, this primary, it is called as a primary spermatocyte. So this sperm cell or spermatogonia, when it increases in size, and mitotic division will happen. In between this stage, mitotic division will be happening. So the number of chromosomes will be doubled. Now here 23 pairs of chromosomes, another one more cell, it is not mentioned here because we are going to take only one cell as the example. We are not able to take all the cells at a time for the example. So only one cell is taken here. It has the diploid number of chromosome, that is 2n. Another one more cell will be dividing from the first spermatogonia or sperm mother cell. It is not mentioned here. So after mitotic division, this 2n with the 2n, 26 number of chromosomes are 26. 2n, 26 pairs, not 26, 26 pairs of chromosomes. Totally 23 pairs, 23 pairs of chromosomes are taken. Total number of chromosomes are now 46. Now here also 46, another one more cell is dividing into as it will be also having the 46. Now this, in this stage it is called as the primary spermatocyte. Increases in size and the mitosis will happen. So the multiplication division will happen here. Now the daughter cell is called as the primary spermatocyte. Now the primary spermatocyte have the 2n of chromosome, diploid number of chromosomes, that means 23 pairs, number of chromosomes are 46. And immediately now this chromosome, this primary spermatocyte will undergo the meiosis division 1. Meiosis division means we know the reduction of chromosomes in the number. Now it is dividing into 2. Number of chromosomes are 23, not pairs, 23. Here 23 pairs, that means 46. Number of chromosomes are 46 here. Down here 23, number of chromosomes are 23. So it is haploid in nature. This one is diploid. So primary spermatocytes are diploid. And afterwards we are getting by the meiosis division. We are getting secondary spermatocytes. Now the secondary spermatocytes have a n number of chromosomes. They are haploid in nature and the number of chromosomes are only 23. So this stage, multiple division, next one is the growth phase. Here this growth is happening, that's why this stage is called as the growth phase. Next, this 23 pairs of chromosomes again going to the meiosis 2, next division. But here it is acts like the mitotic division. The chromosomes will not reduce. The same number of chromosomes, they will be divided into 2. N chromosome and N chromosome here. So the third stage is the third one. We are getting 4 chromosomes. And after getting the N chromosome, spermiogenesis. Now all these are inside the lumen of seminiferous tubules. The third stage, secondary spermatocyte. Now it is converted into spermatid. After the meiosis division, it is converted into spermatid. This spermatid is an unmatured sperms, and these unmatured spermatids again they will be converted into spermatozoa. That spermatozoa is the mature one. That is called as this process is called as the spermiogenesis. So first of all, the number of chromosome is 2n. That cell is called as the spermatogonia or sperm mother cell. It has the 23 number pairs of chromosome. Diploid in nature, total number of chromosomes are 46. When they are increases in size, they are going under the mitotic division, mitosis, somatic division or multiplication division takes place. That's why this stage is called as the multiple stage. When the number of chromosomes are increasing, this mitotic division, afterwards they will be going on mitotic division, two cells will be, we are getting. One is 23 pairs of one cell and another one also. This 26 pairs of this chromosome, first one is called the primary spermatocyte. So after the mitotic division, when we are getting two daughter cells, both the daughter cells are with 23 pairs of chromosomes. Total number of chromosomes are 46 and they are called as the primary spermatocytes. And this primary spermatocytes immediately going for the meiosis first division, that is the reduction division. During this period, this 2n chromosome, that means this diploid number will be converted into haploid number, that means double will be reduced into one single. So two cells we are getting, that they have a 23 chromosomes only. Number of chromosomes are only 23. Now this 23 chromosomes, again this is called as the cell with the sperm cell with the N chromosome. Haploid number of chromosome is called as the secondary spermatocyte. Now the secondary spermatocyte is going for the meiosis 2. Here reduction division, but the number of division chromosomes are, it is like the mitotic division only. Number of chromosomes are not reduced. It will be divided into 2 with N chromosomes and it is called as the spermatid. So in the third stage, fourth stage, it is called as the spermatid, and this stage is called as the maturation stage. During this process, this spermatid will be converted into spermatosoma. Spermatid is the immature sperms and they will be converted into matured spermatosoma or sperms inside the seminiferous tubule. So this process is called as the spermiation. So first one is that spermatogenesis, next spermiogenesis. Spermatogenesis is formation of sperms. That is a common term. Differences between spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis will be asked. Spermiogenesis means conversion of spermatid into spermatosoma. So spermatosoma into spermatid into spermatosoma. So spermiogenesis, what is spermiogenesis? The conversion of immature spermatid into matured spermatosoma is called as, so this is immature stage. Into matured spermatosoma or sperms are called as the spermiogenesis. And all these processes will happen in which part of the testis? Seminiferous tubules. So inside the seminiferous tubules, all will be on the epithelial wall, germinal wall, all this process will happen. Afterwards, they will be shut down inside the lumen, like inside the cavity, will be filled by this area. So during this process, spermatogenesis, the Sertoli cells are giving nutrition for the formation of sperms. So afterwards, after the formation of spermatozoa, when they are converted into spermatozoa or sperms, they will be shut down on the cavity of the seminiferous tubules. This process is called as the spermiation. So here three terms are there. First one, spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis, spermiation. So what is spermatogenesis? Formation of sperms or production of sperms, male sex organs. This type of explanation you can do. The spermatogenesis is the formation or production of male sex cells or male gametes. sperms in the testes. Second one, spermiogenesis, the conversion of immature spermatid into matured spermatozoa or sperms are called as the spermiogenesis, spermiogenesis production. Then next one, spermiation. Spermiation means after getting the maturation inside the walls of epithelial walls of the seminiferous tubules, they will be shed down on the cavity or lumen of seminiferous tubules. This process is called as the spermiation. So now totally all the sperms will be matured. Now this daily per day 200 million sperms can be formed in produced in a male. So this production of after producing these sperms, they will be passed on to the testes, then epididymis, they will be stored in the epididymis. From the epididymis they will be going on vas deferens. From the vas deferens they are moving on to the ejaculatory duct. On the way they are getting the hormones and the secretions from the different areas. Glands also we have discussed in the part 1, class part 1. Next one, hormones which are involved. Hormones which are involved in the spermatogenesis. First hormone is GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gn, first letter, gonadotropin. So this first letter and the last letter is taken for this one. R. Next letter is R, releasing. H is for hormone. The first hormone is gonadotropin releasing hormone. It is motivated, the hypothalamus of the brain will be giving motivation for the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is releasing this hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone. This hormone giving the motivation for the hypothalamus is giving the motivation for secretion of this anterior lobe of the pituitary lobe. So anterior lobe of the pituitary lobe is secreting the gonadotropin releasing hormone. This gonadotropin releasing hormone is giving the gonads. They are stimulating the gonads. Gonads means here testes. Testis is stimulated by this GnRH, and it is secreting two types of hormones. So the gonads, so it is, gonad means testis. It is giving or stimulating the testes to produce two types of hormone. First one is the LH, that is luteinizing hormone. Next one is the first one LH, FSH. So first one is the LH, luteinizing hormone, and FSH. This luteinizing hormone, already we know the luteinizing hormone is reacting on the Leydig cells, and the Leydig cells are secreting the hormone testosterone, androgen, male androgen hormone, that is testosterone. So LH, this testis. First of all, gonadotropin hormone, it is secreted by the pituitary gland. So from the pituitary gland, the hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone is secreting. This hormone is giving the stimulation for the gonads. Gonads means here testis, males testis. This testis is producing two types of sexual hormones, that is LH, luteinizing hormone. This luteinizing hormone is responsible for the production of this androgen, male androgen hormone, testosterone. And the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. This follicle stimulating hormone is responsible for, already we studied, this hormone is inducing, giving the stimulation for the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells are responsible for the nutrition of the spermatozoa or sperms. So three types of hormones are involving in the spermatogenesis. First one is the FSH, then second one LH. Both the hormones are stimulated by the hormone GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. So this hormone is the basic hormone for the functioning of testes. So GnRH, that is the basic hormone that is responsible for the total functioning of testes, because it is giving the stimulation for both the hormones, sex hormones in males, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. This functioning on the Sertoli cells and giving nutrition for the young spermatozoans. Then next one is the LH, luteinizing hormone, is functioning on the Leydig cells and it is responsible for the production of the hormone testosterone. So one more, testosterone. Okay, now this spermatogenesis over. First of all, spermatogenesis, first you have to write the formation of this spermatozoa. Three phases. First phase is the multiple phase, then growth phase, last maturation phase. What are the processes happening in the multiple phase that you have to explain? This mother cell, then second stage, growth phase, cell division, meiotic division, two types of meiotic division, meiotic 1 and meiotic 2 happens. Last, this growth phase, the spermiogenesis will happen. Finally, the spermatids are young spermatids or immature spermatids are converted into spermatozoa. They are the matured spermatozoa or sperms. So afterwards you have to write all the hormones which are involving in the spermatogenesis. Then now we can pass on to the structure of a sperm. The sperm is the smallest human cell. So it is the smallest cell, smallest human cell. It has mainly three portions, not like the others. First one is the head region, then second one, neck region, third one, middle piece, and the last one is the tail. First of all, we can move on to the head. Sperm. Head is oval in shape. This sperm has the head area. Here the sperm has the head with oval in shape. Shape is oval shape. And interior side you can see the cytoplasm and the nucleus. But the nucleus is not like in the other cells. Other cells are only nucleus. When we are studying the structure of a cell, outer covering is the plasma membrane. Here also outer covering is the plasma membrane. Is they are already like in all the other cells. Here also outer covering is the plasma membrane. In other cells we can see the cytoplasm inside. And nucleus is on one area. Center portion we can see the nucleus, and the nucleus of the chromosomes, nucleus, everything you know very well. And the cytoplasm is covered with endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, everything. But here it is not like that. Most of the area here double layered is outer covering. Plasma membrane will be there. Then here you can see the nucleus on most of the areas. Is covered mostly this area. So large nucleus is there. And the cytoplasm, remaining portion, a little portion is covered by the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. And on the tip of the area, we can see the cap-like structure. Here, on cap-like, the thick outer covering is there. That is called as the acrosome. So here acrosome is present. This acrosome, the function of this acrosome is when this sperm is moving towards the ovum during fertilization, this area is penetrating the ovum. So when the egg is like this, the outer layer of this egg we can study. Many layers are there, not like the sperm. 3 layers of thick layers are there on the outer covering of this egg, human egg. So when the eggs are, this sperm is penetrating this wall will be enlightened, or this will be broken by this acrosome. It is helpful. Acrosome is helpful to penetrating inside the ovum. So it has the special type of enzyme, proteolytic enzyme. It is destroying the protein outer covering of the ovum. So it is a proteolytic enzyme. One type of proteolytic enzyme is present, that is called as the hyaluronidase. Hyaluronidase, the enzyme, proteolytic enzyme which is present on the acrosome is called as this enzyme. Hyaluronidase enzyme. Hyaluronidase enzyme. 2 more questions you can expect this type of questions. What is hyaluronidase enzyme? This hyaluronidase enzyme is present on the sperms, especially on the acrosomal area, head region, acrosomal area. This hyaluronidase enzyme is present. It is a proteolytic enzyme, and this proteolytic enzyme is, the function of this proteolytic enzyme is, it is responsible for the breaking down or the dissolving the layer of ovum during fertilization. So write short notes on this enzyme. Otherwise, what is the use of acrosome? Why acrosome is present on the head region of the sperm? The answer you have to give is the enzyme which is present on the head region of the acrosome of sperm is, it is during the fertilization timing, it is dissolving the ovum, the several layers of breaking down of the several layers of ovum. So it is a function of this enzyme, halogenase enzyme. Then head region, up to here it is known as the head region of sperm. Then below that you can see the small neck region. This neck region has the proximal centriole is there. So centriole is present on the neck region. This centriole, when the fertilization happens, along with that the centriole is also entering inside the ovum and it is responsible for the cell division. When the zygote forms, it is responsible for the cell division. What is zygote? Zygote is the fusion of male and female gametes afterwards with 2N. Now it is haploid in nature. Sperm is also haploid in nature. Ovum is also haploid in nature. After the fusion, fertilization happens, we are getting the zygote. Along with that, the zygote, the centriole is also responsible for the cell division, cleavage formation, rapid cell division will happen during that time. So during the cleavage formation, this centriole is responsible for the cell division. So it is present, this centriole, proximal centriole is present on the neck region. This is neck region. Next, afterwards we can see the middle piece. This middle piece has the spiraled mitochondria. So middle piece, you can see the mitochondria like this, spiral. So this spiraled mitochondrial spiral is present on the middle piece of the sperm. So this spiral or mitochondrial spiral. Spiral is coiled more and the mitochondrial spiral is present on the middle piece. And when this function of this mitochondria is already, we know the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, because most of the energy, glucose is not able to absorbed by the cell directly. We are getting the glucose from the starch, whatever the food items we are taking, but the glucose is directly not absorbed by the cell. So it is converted into ATP molecules, adenosine triphosphate molecules. They are the energy givers. So this energy givers, this ATP is stored in the mitochondria. That's why mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. During the movement of the sperm cell, this mitochondria is giving the energy for the motility of the sperm cell. When it is moving towards the ovum, that time this mitochondria is giving full energy for the movement of the sperm. So mitochondrial spiral, that is giving energy in the form of ATP during the movement. ATP energy. So for the movement of this sperm, this mitochondria is giving the energy. The other name of, so it is not like the other mitochondria. Whenever we are studying the structure of mitochondria, elongated oval-shaped mitochondria, but it is not like here, it is spiral. So it is called as a special name is given for this sperm mitochondria, that is called as a Niemann-Kern. Niemann-Kern. So mitochondrial spiral, that is Niemann-Kern. The other name of the spirally coiled mitochondria, which is present inside the sperm, is called as the Niemann-Kern. Now it is giving the energy for the motility of the sperm. Next we can study about the last portion, that is called as the tail region. This tail determination of direction during the movement of the mitochondria or during the movement of the sperm cell. This direction of the sperm will be controlled by the tail region. So it is giving the direction, correct direction for this area. The outer covering is covered by the plasma membrane, tail region. And interior side of the plasma membrane, you can see a long elongated filament that is called as the axoneme. So this axoneme filament is given strength for this tail. So outer covering is plasma membrane tail region, and the axoneme is a filamentous axoneme is present inside this plasma membrane. So tail region. Now the structure of sperm. Once again we can recapitulate this area. Head region. The structure of sperm. It is divided into how many portions? 4 portions. Head region, neck region, middle piece, and the tail region. The head region, what are the things are present? Nucleus, cytoplasm, large nucleus. Nucleus is very large. Large nucleus. Then cytoplasm, acrosome. This acrosome is and the nucleus, both are very important portions. Next, just below that, neck region is present. Neck region is connecting the middle piece and the head region. So in the neck region we can see the centriole. So centriole is present. As a short note, you can write this one. Then only easily you can remember. Here also head region, the cytoplasm. You have to mention the cytoplasm. Acrosome, cytoplasm. Nucleus is present, large nucleus. Acrosome is present on the tip of the head, that is looking like a cap of this sperm. Then cytoplasm, a little amount of cytoplasm also present on the whole body. Everything is present inside. Then neck region, we can see the centriole, that is proximal centriole, that is responsible for the cell division or cleavage formation during zygote, after zygote formation. Then middle piece is contained in the, it is in between the neck region and the tail piece. It is contained in the Leventhal. What is Leventhal? Leventhal means spiral mitochondria or mitochondrial spiral. Then the last one is the tail piece. It has the axoneme. Axoneme, a filament which is covered by the protoplasmic membrane. So now this portion is over. Totally spermatogenesis with the structure of sperm and the hormones which are involved. How the spermatogenesis happening. In this process we have studied 3 terms also. Spermatogenesis, the differences between spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis and the spermiation. 3 terms. Spermatogenesis means formation of gamete, sperms. Spermiogenesis means the matured and immatured spermatids will be converted into matured spermatozoans. They are, that is called as the spermiogenesis. And spermiation, after maturation from the wall they will be seminiferous tubules walls, they will be shaped inside the lumen of the seminiferous tubule, that is called as the spermiation. Next afterwards, structure these hormones which are responsible for the spermatogenesis, and in the last we have studied structure of sperm. Next we can pass on to the ova. So male reproductive organs and the spermatogenesis human. First we can learn the structure of ovum. This structure of ovum, it is a non-pledoic alecital egg. This ovum is the non-pledoic alecital egg. It is the largest human cell. So ovum is the largest human cell. Smallest human cell is sperm. Sperm is the smallest human cell. Largest. And the longest cell, longest human cell is neuron. So 3 types. Largest human cell is ovum. Then the smallest human cell is sperm. And the longest, here largest, here this one is the longest, Neelamani. Human cell is neuron. Now we are going to study the largest human cell, ovum. It is non-pledoic and the alecital egg. Human, and it is surrounded by 3 layers. It is spherical in shape and interior side the cytoplasm which is present inside. Cytoplasm which is present inside the ovum is called as the ooplasm. And the nucleus is present. This nucleus which is present inside this is called as the germinal vesicle. So the cytoplasm which is present inside the ovum is called as ooplasm. What is ooplasm? Ooplasm is the cytoplasm which is present inside the human ovum, and the nucleus which is present inside that is called as the germinal vesicle. This is the nucleus, and this ovum is covered by, not like that sperm, covered by 3 layers of membrane. See the first layer is this one, interior side, which is attached near the ooplasm or cytoplasm of the ovum, that is called as the vitelline membrane. See once again, the membrane which is present near interior side of the cytoplasm or near to the ooplasm is called as the vitelline membrane, and just above that vitelline membrane we can see the one more layer, second layer or middle layer of the ovum is called as the zona radiata, zona pellucida. Not radiata, zona pellucida. The middle layer is zona pellucida and the outer layer which is present on the outer side of the outermost layer. That is called as the with follicle cells. Last layer, the outer layer, outer peri-layer is covered with many elongated follicle cells, and this is called as the corona radiata. Now, three layers are there. Interior side near to the ooplasm or cytoplasm of the ovum. First membrane is called, which is attached near the cytoplasm, is called as the vitelline membrane. And in between this vitelline membrane, in the outer layer, we can see the middle layer. That layer of membrane is called as the zona pellucida. And below that, the peri-layer or outermost layer is with the follicle cells. It is surrounded, attached with the follicle cells. This is called as the corona radiata. Now, it is made up of this plasma membrane, that is three layers. In between these layers, it is filled with the fluid, a type of fluid. In between, you can see the fluid also filled here. This fluid is called as the perivitelline fluid. The fluid which is present in between this zona pellucida and the corona radiata. Zona pellucida and the vitelline membrane. In between the vitelline membrane and the zona pellucida, both first and second layer of interior side, the area is filled with the fluid that is called as the perivitelline fluid. So this is the structure. So structure is over. So the cytoplasm, one of the 5 mark questions. The structure of ovum. First of all, you have to write what type of egg is this. Non-pledoic, alecital egg, and it is the largest cell of humans, and it is made up of cytoplasm. Interior side we can see the cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is called as the ooplasm. On the ooplasm or cytoplasm, nucleus is located. This nucleus is called as the germinal vesicle. And the outer area we can see 3 layers. The cytoplasm or ooplasm of the ovum is covered by the 3 layers. First one is the vitelline membrane, which is nearer to the cytoplasm. Next, middle layer is called as the zona pellucida, and the last one, outer area, outer covering is attached with the follicle, elongated follicle cells, and it is called as the corona radiata. And interior side, this nucleus is contained in the nucleus, chromatin, reticulum, everything. Next, we can pass on to the oogenesis. Already we studied what is oogenesis. This word is refers the ovum, and the genesis is the formation. Genesis means formation. So formation of ovum is called as the oogenesis. And in this chapter, in this area, we are going to study about the different stages of the oogenesis, like the spermatogenesis. So the first one, primary oocytes. Oogonia. The primordial cells, they will be formed inside the germinal layer. We know the structure of the ovum. Internal structure of ovum. It is covered by the outer layer. This outer layer is made up of plasma membrane, and near to that plasma membrane, germinal layer is there. This germinal layer, in the germinal layer, interior side, we can see the cortex area and the medullary area. Already I previously studied. Medullary area is made up of blood vessels, lymph vessels, and the different types of nerves. And the cortex area is covered with the granulosa cells or ovary cells. So the cells, when the primordial cells are oogonia, otherwise the mother ovum cells, they will be formed in this germinal granulosa, this germinal layer, they will be formed. Afterwards, they will be converted into primary oocytes. They will be enlarged in size, and they will be converted into primary oocytes. In this primary oocytes, we can see 3 layers. Evaluation. So these primary oocytes, they are this oogonia, otherwise the mother cells, mother's ovum cells or mother egg cells. These are primordial oogonia, primordial cells. They will be formed on the outer layer, cortex area of the germ layer. Then afterwards, they will be enlarged in size, and they will be converted into primary oocytes. These primary oocytes are going to 3 stages: primary follicles, secondary follicles, and the tertiary follicles. So oogonia is the mother cell or mother ovum cell. When it is enlarged in size, these primary oocytes are formed. These primary oocytes are undergoing 3 stages. First one is the primary follicles. These primary follicles are having the only one single layer. When the oogonia or this oocyte is covered with a single layer of germinal layer, this is called as the primary follicles. So primary follicles, actually they are the primary oocytes. They are covered by a single layer of membrane. So this is primary follicle. Afterwards, these primary follicles are converted into single or secondary follicles. These secondary follicles, primary follicles have single layer. It will be surrounded. Primary oocytes are surrounded by a single layer of membrane, that is primary follicle. Then afterwards, when these primary follicles are converted into secondary follicles, they will be covered by a 3 or 4 layers, several layers. And these several layers, secondary follicles, afterwards when they are filled with the fluid, type of fluid, in between these layers, fluid will be filled, and they will be converted into tertiary follicles. So now tertiary follicles are formed. First, primary oocyte is converted into primary follicle with the help of surrounding of a single layer. Afterwards, this single layered primary follicles will be surrounded by several layers of follicles. That stage is called as the secondary follicle, and afterwards the secondary follicles are filled with these different layers. Several layers are present. No? These several layers are filled by the fluid, a type of fluid. That fluid, after the conversion of these secondary follicles, they are called as the tertiary follicles. Now these tertiary follicles are called as the secondary oocytes. Okay. Now up to this secondary oocytes, the development of this ovum is over. Now we can pass on to the evaluation part. Write down the questions for this evaluation part. First one, structure of sperm cells. With the diagram. This is important. 5 more question. Only that diagram is for 3 more question. With the explanation, it is 5 more. Without explanation, whenever you are drawing only the diagram, that is a 3 more question. Then second one is define neighborhood. Mitochondrial spiral, which is present on the middle piece of the sperm. Then function also you have to mention. Then third one, what is the function of acrosome? Then one more question. Draw the flow chart of spermatogenesis. The flow chart already I have drawn on that right this side. That is what flow chart of spermatogenesis. Gametogenesis. If the question is asked as gametogenesis, you have to write the spermatogenesis and oogenesis flow chart also. So both are together. Thank you.